my stitchy friends. Apparently this is going to be a regular thing now. She really likes it when I sit on this couch, and since I've been spending so much time in the craft room, I haven't been, so here you are. Here is my apparently permanent co-host. I swear I don't do this. Like, I sit down on this couch and this is what she does. She sits up here and gets into pose and and makes herself comfortable. So here she is, and here we are for our weekly update. Still October, still in costume, having fun. If you see me adjusting a lot, this costume doesn't fit the same way it did the last time I wore it. So it's kind of sticking in some weird places, and sorry, I'll try not to fidget too much, but can't really help it all that much. And I'm sure you guys are getting a great reflection of the ring light in these glasses. But we're having fun, so who cares? Right? Who cares? You sure don't. No? Okay. So anyway, let's jump right into what I've been up to this week. I've got some stitchy updates for you. I have some yarny updates. Those, unfortunately, are all sad. I've been having a rough time, and so this is my plea for help to kind of break me out of my yarn-related slump and issues and frustrations. But we'll go ahead and start with the fun stuff, the stitchy stuff that I definitely can get worked on. Yeah, are you quite all right there? You gonna examine everything as it comes down? Seems like something that you would do. Does this one meet your approval? Good. Okay, so the first one I haven't actually had out for a while because I didn't work on it last month, and that is that Everything Is Fine, the stitch along based on The Good Place. If you'll remember, because I'm doing it all as one, there's not a, oh, you make a good armrest like that. You stay right there. There's not a, there are only 4 spaces, or 10 spaces on the large frame, and there's 11 characters being done if you stitch them separately, and I picked last month as my month to take off. So if you'll remember where I had just finished Michael, which was the bow tie, Take It Sleazy, and so now I've started October's, which is Tahani, and I haven't gotten very far. So here's where I'm at right now. And I'll move it a little bit closer. You can see there is what I got done last month right here. I added a little bit of border over here so that I could count out to the next part, and the next part is right down here. That's only about 1 night's worth of stuff. Don't you, sorry if you see a puppy nose coming up soon. So I did this in about an hour. It's the start of Tahani's dress, and hopefully it won't take too terribly long to stitch this, but this one is fun. Finish it up. I'll do a little bit more border because we all know me and borders. I don't like to do them, and I don't do them really until you make me. But I've got a little bit of a start on it finally, and it took me a lot further into the month before I actually got to pull it out than I wanted to, because I just pulled it out over the weekend on, I think, like actually I don't think it was even the weekend. I think it wasn't until Monday, the 12th. So I got like 2 weeks into the month before I pulled it out. Not what I wanted to do. Dark Queen of the Seas. I love this one. Every time I work on it, I love it a little bit more. I didn't get a whole lot done on it this week. You'll see why. There are other projects that demanded more attention, but this is where I'm at. And if you look at that, you can see I got more of the final fish's tail done, and then I just got some more of the torso filled in around here on the top in these purples and blues. So I'm very pleased with how this is turning out. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, the only problem I have is taking me a really long time to stitch it. So I'm already behind. And obviously the fish were all September, and I'm not even done with that. Even if you counted what I've done of October already, I still wouldn't be done with September. So it's going a lot more slowly than I'd like, but I'm not ready to give up on keeping up with this one yet. It's probably going to take me a few months. I have to finish Stitching Book Club, and I have to finish the Halloween stitch along, and then I can start really focusing on this one. But in the meantime, every time I work on it, it makes me happy. Temperature Stitch Along is updated through yesterday. Well, it's after midnight, so it's updated through Monday. It's Tuesday night, Wednesday morning as I'm filming this. So through October 12th. And right after last week, when I was talking about how much I enjoyed the cooler colors, and I was really excited to see all greens and blues, this week it was all in the 70s and even back up into the 80s a couple times. So we were back into yellows with the greens for the lows. But it's still better than like the oranges and the reds, and I'll take it. And I'll get you in a little bit closer on the work that I've done recently. And hopefully you can see that pretty well. One of the exciting things is I'm up here right now, so the next week I'm going to come up around the corner and we're going to start the very last rotation. And how this is going to work is I have one more rotation to go, and then there's going to be embellishments in the four corners, and then the very last day of the year is a border. So there is that. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. I tried to organize the camera, but I don't know how well I got it. The last two are the ones I've probably been working on the most. The first one, if you've watched any of my Flosstubes lately, you've seen this one. It's Stitching Book Club. We're currently reading and stitching Frankenstein. And the last of the substantive part of the pattern came out this past week. So it's the last two squares on the top, and then on October 31st there will be a final pattern release, which will just be embellishment in the border areas. So here's where I'm at. I've only been able to get in a few days worth of work on this one. And as you can see, I used that time to get across the top here, get counted out over to the top corner, and then I've started filling in right there. This is actually going to be a tombstone. So that's what I've got there. I am hopeful that by the end of the next week I will have this square done, and then I will be able to start working on the last square and then start filling in all the border, because I'm notorious for not finishing border. But I'm having fun with this one, and I've really enjoyed. I've been listening to an audiobook version of Frankenstein while I stitch, and I've really been enjoying the story, and I've got a really good narrator for the version that I am listening to, so I'm really enjoying that. And it's fun seeing the different elements that she's chosen to incorporate into the stitch along. So the final one that I've been working on this week is the Stitchonomy Halloween stitch along. This has been, if you'll remember last week, I said it's my current priority project. It's the one I want to work on every day, And the reason is because they're releasing a pattern every day. I made the mistake earlier this week of getting 4 patterns behind, and it took me most of Saturday night to catch up. So I'm trying not to do that anymore. That being said, I still haven't done today's square yet. So we'll see. But here's what I got so far. And we'll move it in closer so you can see. Hopefully. It's current through October 12th. And so I've got witchy boots and a crystal ball and a broomstick and a spell book in the top row. And then the next row is Eye of Newt and a cauldron, potion bottles, a black cat, and an owl. Don't you go away on me. Come back. Technical difficulties. Don't you even start. I hear you over there. And then the bottom row is the autumn leaves, a bat hanging upside down in a tree, and the blood moon. And then tonight is kind of cool the way she organized it. Tonight is a wolf that looks like it's howling at the moon. So I'm having a lot of fun with this one. I'm finding it a little bit stressful to be working on having to keep up with a pattern a day because, like I said, I got behind on one occasion and just kind of like got way behind, and it took me forever to catch up, and everything else suffered, and I got frustrated. Frustration seems to be the story of this week, and that's what I'm about to talk about with all of my yarny projects. So let's go ahead and talk about the knot webinar shawl. Here it is, looking not much further along than the last time you saw it, and actually it is. I got like 4 rows done, between 4 and 6, I don't remember for sure. So I got some work done on it, but I honestly think I'm gonna have to scrap it, and here's why. I've mentioned previously that I know that I've made a lot of counting mistakes on this, and the reason that I know is the 2 sides are supposed to be an equal number of stitches out from the stitch marker in the center, and they are not, by a lot. I've made multiple counting errors, and one of these sides I believe is much longer than the other. So right there it's going to be lopsided. I can't tell for sure until I can get it off the needles because it is no longer, it's too wide for the needles now. You can see that. They're out to their full length, and even if I take this out as far as I dare towards the tips, you can see it's still super scrunched up in the center. But then this evening, as I was working on it, I discovered that I dropped some stitches pretty far back, and they have already started to unravel. And I don't know how to fix this. I don't know if I want to fix this. I am really frustrated with this project right now. I'm kind of so sick of it that I don't want to see it anymore. Just because I know I've made so many mistakes on it, and my confidence is kind of taking a hit. I know how to knit, but when I pull this out, I feel like I don't. Which I think has been pretty obvious by the amount of time I've been devoting to it, which is not very much. So yeah, I think I need to at least put it down. There's a possibility that I could rip it out and try to catch it down here, but I honestly am not sure that I could just because this mesh has so many dropped and knit together and picked up stitches that I don't have a lot of confidence in my ability to recover it, even if I try to rip down to where it's unraveling. So I may or I may not, but I mean, at the end, I think it's probably safe to say that this is beyond the point that I can salvage it. And so I need to figure out what I'm going to do knitting-wise next. And there are a few options. The first is that I just go ahead, scrap this, unravel it, re-roll the yarn, because I'm not going to get rid of the yarn. It's gorgeous to work with. I'm so sick of seeing it right now because I've been so frustrated with this project. And start the shawl again, but with a different colorway, because this was actually designed for a variegated colorway anyway, so working with solids, it wasn't meant to be done with a solid color anyway, but then at least that way I kind of can give my brain something different to work on. Or I can just start a completely new project. I have a couple in mind. One of the things I've been looking at was starting a pair of socks, which would require me to learn how to knit in the round. There is an Afghan, it's a conversion from crochet that I'm looking at that would require me to learn double knit. So I could start one of those new projects. Probably the socks, because if I thought this was long, an Afghan is going to take me forever. But I don't know, like I said, my confidence has taken a huge hit with this. Coming this far now, only to lose this to the point where it's not salvageable, or very likely not salvageable for my skill level, is frustrating. And so third option is to go back and do something a little bit simpler, and I don't even know what that would look like right now. If it would be redoing a project I've already done, or if it would be just finding a very super simple beginner project and going back to that. Or even a little bit more advanced. I don't know. Those of my friends that are knitters, I am open to suggestions. I'm open to pointing me to patterns on Ravelry or elsewhere. Yeah, anything you got, go ahead and drop me a line and send it my way, because right now I'm not feeling very good about myself and anything to do with yarn. And the other reason is right here. This is my very first crochet project. Yay, right? That's supposed to be straight across. Apparently, I can't count. I was crocheting it this way, so bottom to top. And apparently I can't count. And I'm not even sure how I got it like back out. Apparently I did some sort of adding thing. Anyway, but I clearly cannot crochet. This is just supposed to be a simple square of single crochet, and it's not even stinking square. It looks like someone took a bite out of it. And I don't know what to do at this point. So yeah, yarn and I are not getting along in any medium right now. And I don't know what to do about it. So knitters, crocheters, suggestions, criticisms, anything that you want to tell me, I am open to hear it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to cross stitch because I know I'm good at that. Yeah. All right, so that's what I have for this week. Plans for the coming week. Honestly, don't expect to see me get a whole lot done. And the reason is that next weekend I am going out of town for my nephew's birthday. He's going to be 6. And I had to miss his party this past weekend because I had to work, and I also wasn't feeling great. I I didn't think it was COVID related, but I'm not gonna take a chance with spreading something to my family, and I feel completely fine now. I mean, everything is fine, but I just, yeah. So I had to miss his party last weekend, but his actual birthday is this weekend, and I'm gonna go up and see him and his brother and my brother and sister-in-law and my dad and hang out. And usually when I get up there, I just don't get a lot of stitching done. So don't expect to see a whole lot done. I'm gonna try to keep up on the Halloween stitch along. I'm gonna try to keep up on the temperature stitch along. Other than that, I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself to get anything done. So it may be as simple as in I pop in and say hi and I show you an updated Halloween stitch along next week. Yeah, so I don't expect to do a lot. But who knows? Maybe I'll be totally wrong. We'll see. Maybe if it's movie night, I'll feel like pulling out my stitching while we're watching movies. I don't know. But anyway, that's it. Lexi's been hovering by the door for like the past 10 minutes. And she probably actually does have to go out this time, unlike the last time we did this when she was just being a pest. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for this week. Thank you to my new subscribers, to everybody who took the time to give me comments or likes. Yes, I will be there in like 2 seconds. She's so demanding. Anyway, people who took time to like, comment, subscribe on my last video, I really appreciate you guys. That's why I do this, because I enjoy the interaction and I enjoy the chance to get a little bit of interaction with you and here and on Instagram. So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. I swear this time. This is like a Midwestern goodbye. Have you ever heard that saying? Like, we start by saying, well, I better go, and we stand up, and it's like 30 or 45 minutes before we actually get out the door, because there are all these stages of a Midwestern goodbye. And one of them includes tangents. Not really, but I made that up. Anyway, for real this time, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. So everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next week. Bye.